Hi everyone, I'm Lori. Welcome to my channel, Lori's Little Designs and Crafts. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. And if you are new to the channel, thank you so much for being here. I'm so happy to have you with us. Make sure you hit subscribe so you never miss an upload. So today we're going to be doing my monthly WIP and chat. If you are new here and you do not know what WIP stands for work in progress, and chat just stands for chat. So I'm actually just going to be working on my current project and just kind of chatting alongside you guys. So feel free to whip out whatever project you're working on and craft alongside me. I'm going to go over the tools and what I'm working on real quick, and then we'll kind of get into it. So the canvas that I'm working on is, oh goodness, what is it called? Books Spicy Coffee Icy, and the artist is Mia from Roseberry Sunset, and this kit is from Fallon Gems. I'm going to be using a tray from Firefly Diamond Art. I'm actually using, this is the new Inferno tray that, I think it's the Inferno, right? Yeah, it's the Inferno tray that I unboxed earlier this week, and it's the pink and green one. This pen I got for Christmas in 2023. So I don't know who the turner of this pen is, unfortunately, so I can't share that information with you because I don't know. But it is a hybrid, and it's really pretty. It's like a wood and resin hybrid, and it's pink and black, and it's really nice. So I'm going to be using this pen. For putty, we are actually using Grayson's Creations Eucalyptus Mint Intergalactic Putty, and I'm using this in both my single placer and my multi-placer because I'm still trying it out. I actually unboxed this on my channel earlier in the week too. Oh goodness, there we go. I'm like, where's the camera lens? I was like, it's over here. No, it's right here. So yeah, I'm actually trying this out. My pen's already loaded up with it. It takes me a while to get it loaded. I'm not used to loading it yet because it's a little different than the other types of putties that I'm used to like working with. So, oh, and I also have this little thing here. It's just like to collect trash. It's just a little resin jar that I've got going on. So if you see that, it's nothing special. I actually picked it up at like a trinket store here in town somewhere. So that is all the tools and everything we are working on. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to readjust myself and get comfortable. So hi. How are you guys? We're going to be working on the skeleton's face, and it's a little better than the section that I was, like, honestly, I was going to finish the skeleton and move over here, but I thought this would be more pleasant to look at for you guys, less boring. So what I've done is I've actually done pretty much all of the outlining of the skeleton, and I just have to fill in the sections that you guys see. They're pretty much color blocking sections. So yeah, surprisingly, I actually think this kit is computer rendered, and the reason why is because the outline of the skeleton and the objects that I've been working on throughout the painting, they have been very confetti heavy rather than just being, let me go ahead and get a color, rather than just being like one color. So like the outlines of the painting, not the painting, but the objects, I would think should be like one solid color, and they've been multitudes of colors. So I actually think this piece is more heavily computer charted, and I don't know if it's fully computer charted or if it's just partially computer charted. I'm not entirely certain. So the confetti has been interesting on this kit. It has been interesting, but there is a lot of color blocking too, so it's all good. It is working out to be pretty good, I think. When I'm finished with it, you guys will get a post review and pictures and all that. So, but it is working out to be pretty good. So yeah, hi. How are you guys? I'm actually gonna start down here, I think. So it has been a month. I hope everyone is having a very good 2025 so far. If you are like me, I'm done with my free trial, and I would like to return to sender. That would be great. We've had a lot of stuff happening in our lives, and it's just been one thing after the other, and it's actually really funny because at the start of the year I was like, this is gonna be a great year, and it's been like, it hasn't been bad, but we've definitely had to deal with some obstacles this last month, and it's been really exhausting. And yeah, so my cat, my old cat, his name is Kit Kat. I actually think you guys might have briefly seen him in my most recent post review during Cozy Christmas. So his name is Kit Kat, and he is a really, really old cat. Like, he is like upwards of 20. So a few months back, let's see, it was back in maybe August? August, September, October, November. No, September. It was September. Back in September, he had his like annual rabies shots and checkup and all that jazz, and he actually already goes to the vet once a month to get his, I call it a pedicure, to get his nails trimmed, because he's just so old he doesn't take care of his nails anymore. Anyways, he had his annual checkup, and they did a blood draw because he's on some crazy pain medicine because he wasn't getting around too good for a while, and we suspect he has arthritis and stuff. So he's actually on a pain medication, and I guess too much of the pain medication could affect like certain things. Anyways, they just wanted to keep an eye on him, okay? So they wanted to keep an eye on his like blood levels and stuff, which is completely understandable and fine. Well, what was it? Was it last year? I think it was last year. So the year before this, he actually had a blood draw because of that, because he's been on this medication for a long time. And his kidney levels were like slightly elevated. And the vet told us to just add water to his food. And we're like, okay, yeah, we can do that. So, you know, that entire year we were actually adding extra water to his food to help him stay hydrated and to help, you know, help his kidneys function pretty much. Well, back in September, his blood draw came back and his kidneys had deteriorated further from the previous year. So the vet is like, okay, so what we need to do is we need to continue to keep him as hydrated as possible. And they wanted us to start him on a special like kidney diet for cats. And for one, the food is very, very, very expensive. And that's not a big deal. I don't mind that. It just is what it is. But the challenge was that he's a picky eater, and he likes to have variety in his diet. So we get him, like, they give us some few samples to try, and it was weird because one brand that we tried, he really liked the dry food, but he didn't like the wet food, and he's mostly like a wet food eater when it comes to like his cat food and stuff. So I was like, this isn't gonna work because he won't eat enough of the dry food to sustain his, you know, his calorie intake or whatever he needs. So we tried a couple other brands, and eventually we found one, but it was a hassle. So then he was like on one type of food for dry food because I had already bought a bag of the dry food thinking, oh yeah, this will be fine. And then another brand of food for his wet food, which the vet said was fine. They just prefer to have him on one like brand or one line of the prescription food for his, and it's like a special kidney diet food. Not a big deal, but we put him on this food, and then 3 months later, she wants us to have another blood draw to see if, you know, his levels have, like, improved any or at least maintained. So in January, it was January, right? Because it was in September, October, November, actually the end of December. No, it was January, because I don't think I told you guys about this last month. Or maybe, no, it was January. So at the beginning of January, I'm getting my days mixed up, but at the beginning of January, he had his blood draw, his 3-month blood draw, and his kidney levels have actually deteriorated further, which is not good. So his kidneys are failing, and at this point, there's not anything really that we can do other than to just kind of manage his symptoms. So he has been getting like super nauseous recently, and he, honestly, last week he really didn't want to eat much. But we also have to take him in every single week now to get like fluid injections, which is, I've never heard of anyone having to do that for a cat, but I guess if their kidney function is just not where it needs to be, yeah, they get like a fluid bubble. It's kind of like, I don't want to say it's IV fluid because I asked about it. I was like, is it IV fluid? And she's like, no, not exactly. She's like, it's a bubble of fluid that they put in like around his shoulder blades, and over X amount of days or X amount of hours, his body absorbs the fluid to keep him hydrated. And they've also given him like B12 and stuff to kind of entice him to like want to eat and get his energy levels up and whatnot. So we're having to go every week for that, and we've been doing it for 3 weeks now. And the poor guy, he's my cat is a trooper. Let me tell you, he's a trooper. He's a very well-behaved cat, even though he doesn't like going to the doctor. I don't know anyone that does like going to the doctor, but he lets them do whatever it is that they need to do, and then he's like, take me home. So he has to get fluid injections every week. They also put him on an anti-nausea medicine, which cost me an arm and a leg for a 1 month's supply. He's been doing really good this week on it, though, so that's good. He's been eating a little more, which is good, because it was last week he actually stopped eating, and we're like, oh no. And we told her that, and and she's like, well, it's probably because he's nauseous. So we're gonna give him, you know, anti-nausea stuff and see how he does, and give him this to help him stimulate his appetite. Because if he stops eating, he could get an ulcer, which is not good, and also, you know, starvation's a thing. Like, he wasn't starving himself, but he was not eating like what he was like taking a bite and then walking away. So he was eating very, very little. So this week he's doing better, but it's been a whole thing, you know, like, he's an old cat. He's getting to the end of his life, and I've come to terms with that. It makes me sad, but it is what it is. So his food, let me tell you about the food he has to be on. So I used to buy him Fancy Feast, and what was the dry food that we have them on, or had them on? It was Blue Buffalo. So it was like the higher end stuff that you can get at the grocery store, which was, you know, it cost a pretty penny in and of itself. But like this prescription food, his dry stuff is $10 a pound. I paid $30 for a 3-pound bag of his dry food, and then a 24-can case of the wet stuff that he's on is like $90. Yeah, it's outrageous. And then he's going to the vet every week, and that bill has been varying depending on which injections they give him. So like it can be anywhere from $25 to like $50. Oh, so yeah, that's been kind of a thing, and I'm not too worried about the money. That's not a big deal or anything, but I'm just sad that my cat is getting old, and you know, he has all these issues, and we're doing what we can. I'm not going to say, you know, there's nothing we can do, but at this point it's just keeping him comfortable until he decides he's done, pretty much. So that's been a hard pill to swallow this month. Oh my goodness. So yeah, my husband, oh my goodness, my husband has to have his gallbladder taken out. That's fun too. So it was a couple weeks ago. We were sleeping, and he wakes me up in the middle of the night, and he's like, I'm so sorry, but you know, I'm having immense abdominal pain. And I'm like, okay, we're going to the hospital. And it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, why did you start with, I'm sorry? I was like, what? I was like, no, you don't apologize for being in immense pain. We just go to the hospital. It's fine. And get up and go. And that's what I did. I got up, threw some clothes on, grabbed my purse, and we were out the door. But it turns out that he had a gallbladder attack. So his doctor scheduled I think it was an ultrasound. Yeah, I think it was an ultrasound. And he had it done. And we actually got to see the scan results and everything. And yeah, he has a very large gallstone. Which is actually really fascinating, because a lot of people usually get like a bunch of small gallstones, I guess, according to the surgeon that we talked to. Was it last week? I find this stuff very fascinating. Like when I was in high school, I thought I wanted to be a doctor, and then I just like never followed through with the education, because teenage Lori was a big dum-dum. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. I find the human body very fascinating, and anatomy and everything was like my jam. So I found it really interesting. So I was asking the doctor all kinds of questions. And I was like, you know, can we see the scans? And she's like, yeah. And she pulls them up, and she's like, look at this, look at that. And I guess they even got a shot of his kidney, and she's like, and that's a little kidney. That guy looks so cute. And he doesn't have any kidney stones, so that's good. But like this gallstone was huge. It was huge. I was like, well, no wonder you were in immense pain that night. So, anyways, when we went to the ER, they ended up giving him a, some pain medicine. He didn't have a fever, and he didn't, like, have any nausea or vomiting or anything. And they pretty much said, you know, follow up with your doctor and go from there unless, you know, you get pain that you cannot manage at home and it's accompanied by, like, a fever and stuff like that and vomiting. And he's like, okay. So, luckily he hasn't had another attack since then. Thank goodness, because that was just, like, I know he wasn't feeling good, and it was agony to watch him be in so much pain and be uncomfortable. There wasn't anything I could do other than just sit there and be like, nurse, doctor, please help. I've done my part. I brought the man here. Please take care of him. So, yeah, he has that scheduled for the end of this month. He gets it out on the 27th. And he's actually going to be off work for a couple weeks because of it. So yeah, that happened as well this month. And then, oh, my mother, oh my gosh, it's like I said, I'm over this month. I'm ready to return to sender. I'm not interested in any more 2025. You know, 2024 wasn't as bad as I thought it was. I have come to terms with that. 2024 wasn't as bad as everyone thought it was. Let's go back. So my mom, yeah, she sent me a text message. This happened just last week, too. She sent me a text message. I guess it was a little more than last week, because what is today? Today is February 6th, so this still happened in January. It was in January. I have, like, no concept of, like, how time is passing anymore. I've been having trouble keeping up with the days of the week. We'll get to that we'll get to that later. Anyways, my mother sends me a text message, and it's just a picture of her arm, and it's colors that it shouldn't be. Like, we're talking, like, blues and purples and stuff. Like, you know, the color that your arm shouldn't be on a normal basis, right? And she's like, yeah, I fell. I'm going to the ER. And I'm like, what the absolute heck? What do you mean? What? Okay. That's fine. So my mom, she's like 7 hours from me, so there wasn't anything I can do. It's not like she's alone or anything. She has my dad and my brother, but I was working, and I get that, like, first thing in the morning, and I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, this is how it was. I think it was a Monday morning. I was like, this is how we're going to start my week. Oh boy. So I guess the story is, because I, you know, were prompted for more information. I was like, you know, what happened? What did you do? Can you move it? It's not supposed to be that color. You know, keep me updated. You know, I was, you know, asking for more information. And the story is that she fell while she was cleaning the shower. Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. She's like, yeah, my feet just flew out from under me while I was cleaning the shower. And I was like, makes me wonder if she was climbing on stuff she shouldn't have been. I don't know if my mom knows I have this channel. So Mom, if you're listening to this, were you climbing on stuff that you shouldn't have been? If she was, she wouldn't admit it anyway, so I guess it doesn't even matter. But, so yeah, she fell and broke her arm, unfortunately. And she banged up her leg and her back really bad. But luckily she didn't break any of that. And she didn't require surgery on her arm, but I guess she cracked the bone from the top of her elbow down, or not the elbow, top of her shoulder down to her elbow. I can't remember what that bone is called. My brain is fried for the day. So yeah, she didn't need surgery, but she's gonna be, like, unable to, like, do anything for 6 to 8 weeks, and then she has to have physical therapy, so she's fine. So that's good. I'm glad she's fine. I am not glad that she fell in the first place, but it's fine. Daddy and the brother will just have to make sure they take care of everything in the household. And I picked up an extra diamond. Get off of there. There we go. And all that jazz. So yeah, the start of January has been very interesting for us. It's been kind of exhausting. So, like, I'm just waiting. I'm like, okay, what's gonna happen next? Could we get a little break? Like, could life just settle down just a little bit? Just a little bit. And then, you know, crazy things are happening in the world. Like, I don't know if anybody's paying attention to the news. I actually try not to pay attention to the news because I don't like don't like the news. It's depressing. But then, like, we had, what, an aviation crash? Was it in Philadelphia? Where the helicopter and the plane crashed into each other mid-flight in the air. That was crazy. That was insane. And then less than a week later, we had that medical jet crash. That was also insane. So, yeah, I think we should just hit return to sender. Do not want 2025. You know, I'm good. I tried the free trial, and I would like to just I would like my money back, please. Refund. Yeah. So I hope everyone's January has been a little bit better. Let me know how your January was. Those were the highlights of my month. Yeah. Yeah, those were the big highlights of my month, really. So, something to talk about on a more positive note. So, Gencon badges go on sale on the 9th of February, which is, I think it's the 9th. Yeah, the 9th, because that's this Sunday. So I'm really excited about that. If you don't know what Gencon is a big tabletop board gaming, pretty much like a nerd convention, I like to refer to it as. And it happens every year in Indianapolis, in downtown Indy. And it's a lot of fun. And it's not just, like, they don't just have board game related stuff, and like there's D&D, and they do have like video game sections, and they actually have a lot of crafty stuff. Like, I actually learned how to do English paper piecing at Gen Con 2 or 3 years ago. So, like, they have a bunch of crafty events, and they have, like, stuff for writers, and I don't think I placed that straight at all. So I'm really excited about that. Badges go on sale this Sunday, so we try to go every year, and we've been going for the last couple of years. We actually went the year before COVID, and then we skipped 2 years because of the pandemic. But yeah, we've been going the last couple years. It's something that we try to do every year. My husband really, really loves going, and we have a lot of fun. And so yeah, badges for that go on sale, and I'm really excited. So like how that works is badges will go on sale this month, and then they have what they call the housing lottery, which we're not gonna talk about that. That gives me anxiety. But then they have event sign up in May. Like, that's when it opens. And you can still, like, sign up for events, like, throughout the event itself, too. But all the good stuff, well, most of the good stuff. Maybe not all the good stuff. There's always something to do at Gen Con, but most of the good stuff will get swiped up in May. So we have, you know, badges to buy this month, and then in May, I'll get to browse and, like, sign up for my events, and that'll be really exciting. I don't know. I haven't really been keeping an eye on kind of like, so I'm in a couple different groups that kind of centers around Gen Con on like Facebook and stuff. And sometimes I get like previews of the kind of events people are submitting to host and stuff. And I haven't seen a whole lot of the crafty stuff. I know last year they had some diamond painting stuff. Maybe I'll sign up to do, I'm going to sign up to do diamond painting at Gen Con, even though I diamond paint every day at home. It's a different experience. It's a different experience. Last year, oh my gosh, so last year at Gen Con, I signed up for, what was it? We made like bracelets or something. And I've never really been like big into jewelry making or anything like that. So that was a lot of fun to experience. We made bracelets, and so my husband will actually, he's agreed, and he's done this every single year that we've gone. He has agreed to do one crafty event with me every year. So the first year we went together, we did, like the first year ever, we did, we made dice bags, but they were made out of like chainmail scales, and they were in the Harry Potter Hogwarts house themes. And I was really bad at it. I did not have the right motor skills. I'm sorry. I didn't have the right motor skills to handle the tools that I was given, and I had never worked with scale mail before. And they were like little pieces. They were like little dragon scales. They were really cool. They were really neat, but I was really bad at it. My husband, who was not my husband at the time, we weren't married when we went that year, but he was really good at it. I got frustrated. I was like, I suck at this. How are you so good at this? And he's like, I don't know. I kind of like it. It's kind of relaxing. And I was like, I don't like you right now. I don't like you right now. I was like, I'm supposed to be good at this. And he's like, oh, well, you know. And then he had the audacity. He's like, you need help? And I was like, no. Because I'm stubborn like that. But that was a lot of fun. And then, what was it? 1 year he did diamond painting like zipper bags. I don't have it next to me. I use those to like hold some of my crochet stuff when I'm working on a project. They were really cool, and they were like Star Wars themed. So like he did one that had Chewbacca on it, and I did one with Princess Leia. So he did that. So he's actually diamond painted before, which is really cool. And the year that we did that, he looked at me and he's like, please don't ever make me diamond paint again. I was like, oh, it wasn't bad. And he's like, please don't make me do that again. And I was like, all right, fine. But I think last year they actually had like, where did my diamond? Oh, it's stuck on my blazer. Get off. Release. There we go. Last year they actually had like, they had a couple different diamond painting classes. And I never sign up for those because I do diamond paint all the time at home. But I don't know, maybe I will if I have extra time. I am notorious for like overscheduling myself during Gen Con, but I think everyone kind of does that. That was not placed straightly either. So what was it last year? Last year, the craft that we did was the bracelets, and they were made with lava beads, and they were like essential oil bracelets. So like we got to pick a couple different beads to accent the bracelet, and then the rest of them were made with just like the normal black lava beads, and then you got to choose like an essential oil to soak into the beads. It was really cool, and my husband did it with me, and then his best friend actually, I signed him up and he did it as well. He was a trooper. He pouted about it a little bit, but I was proud of him. He did it because we all three go together every year and it's a lot of fun. But my husband's like, yeah, that one wasn't too bad. He's like, I actually kind of like that. And I was like, huh. And I mean, his bracelet turned out pretty well. Like he got to, you got to make like, you got to sort the beads on the elastic however you wanted. And you got enough of the colored ones in that activity to kind of like create different patterns and stuff. So he was like rearranging them this way and that way. He was actually pretty good at it. Like he did really well. But it was really funny because he chose, was it vanilla as his scent? I think it was vanilla, or it might have been, it was something warm. I think it was vanilla. So anyways, he chose his scent, which I'm going to say it was vanilla. I'm pretty sure it was vanilla. And he doused his bracelet in the vanilla. You were only supposed to use a couple drops, and that man, like, bathed his lava beads in the vanilla scent. It was so overpowering. So right after that activity, we actually went to line up for the first day of the vendor hall. So the vendor hall at the convention is exactly what it sounds like. It is a giant, we call it a hall, but it's like their biggest conference room that they have at the Indianapolis Convention Center. And all the vendors are set up in there, and they do not open until a certain time, and people will line up for it. They do line up for it because it's very exciting, and, you know, shopping, spending money. We love shopping and spending money. So we went to go line up for that, and we could smell his vanilla. Like, he would be walking behind us or in front of us or sometimes beside us, but wherever he was, like, you could smell him from like feet and feet away. So the running joke was pretty much throughout the entirety of the convention, because it's like a 4-day convention. is if you smell vanilla, you know Josh is near. So there were times when I was in the event hall and it's like impossible to stay next to each other, especially if you want to look at different things. There's so many people. You're gonna get split up from the people that you went in with unless you're like tethered to at the hip, which sometimes we are. A lot of times we're not. We just kind of go in and we all explore and do our own thing, and sometimes we'll meet up and we'll be like, hey, I want to show you something really cool, and we'll go off together and whatever. But for the most part, I mean, like I said, it's like impossible to stay next to each other the entire time and browse comfortably because there's just that many people at once in the vendor hall. So there was a time I was in the vendor hall and I was nowhere near my husband. At least I didn't think I was, but I could smell the vanilla. And I walked around somebody, because I'm really short, so I'm literally 5 foot, like on the nose. And my husband jokingly says, oh yeah, you're 5 foot nothing. Yeah, that was a running thing too. Anyways, I am very short and most people are taller than me. So I don't get a lot of like I can't see around people very well. So like I had pretty much darted around somebody and around the corner, and my husband was standing there. He just happened to be standing there looking at something. And I looked at him and immediately cracked up laughing. And he's like, what's so funny? He's like, I'm standing here looking at, why are you laughing? And I was like, I smelled the vanilla before I saw you. And he about died. He was so hysterical. He's like, that's good. He's like, that's a good one. That's a good one. And it happened more than once. But yeah. So that's a thing. That was the craft that we did last year, was the lava bead essential oil bracelets. So I don't know what I'm going to sign us up for this year. It'll be interesting. I'll have to report back sometime in May and let you guys know what it is that we're gonna do crafty wise at the convention center. Yeah, so yeah, that was a really funny story. I forgot. It's funny how I start talking about things and I was like, oh my gosh, I remember this. I have interesting things to tell you guys. At least, you know, interesting. I think it's interesting. So yeah, Gencon badges go on sale. Really excited. Can't wait. An event sign up will be in May. Also can't wait for that too. It's getting closer. Getting closer. If you guys are interested in Gencon at all, gencon.com. I can link it down in the video description if you really want. And their website will tell you pretty much everything that you need to know. So look at this skelly face. We have a skelly face. Oh, there's a drill popping up. There we go. There we go. I will say that this image is computer rendered, which is completely fine. At least I'm pretty sure it's computer rendered. But the drill field is really, really tight. Like like there is like no gapping on these. Even with my light pad, like there's like, you can barely see any gapping, which is absolutely freaking phenomenal. I love it. All right, so now I'm just gonna work on filling in this blue section here. We have a skelly face. He looks pretty good, even with all the weird confetti going on from the computer generation, but he looks good. So, yeah, let's see, what other updates? I think I told you guys last month that I was trying to figure out if I was having a craft show or not in May. I am having a craft show in May. And it is a multi-day craft show. It's actually 2 days. It's a Saturday and Sunday, and it's going to be the weekend before Mother's Day. And I thought what I wanted to do was do crochet roses and then like have a build your own bouquet bar, because I thought that sounded really cool. That sounded really fun. But then I tried a few roses out and decided that I absolutely hated making them. So I was like, we're not doing this, because if I hate making them, then what's the point? Like, I don't want to be miserable doing something that, you know, I'm supposed to enjoy doing. So I decided in their place that I was actually going to do, like, bookmarks. Like, really pretty bookmarks and stuff. And in the shape of little flowers. And I haven't tested any of them out, so I'm actually going to have to try a couple and make sure I don't hate making them. So that helps round out my inventory a little bit. So I'm going to be selling my scrunchies, hair bandanas. I have the little wallets, which I do like making, and I have a good head start on those, and then bookmarks. So that gives me 4 different types of items, and if I come up with something else in between. I'll definitely throw that in there, but I'm already being pretty over ambitious as it is, so I think that's probably a good call on that. So you guys can definitely expect to see some market prep videos coming your way if you're into that sort of thing. If you're not, I completely understand. I completely get it. It's not your thing, it's all good. But that is something that I am looking at doing, and I'm really excited about it because that is something that I do. Is I do crochet, and I do go to markets and I sell my finished products and all that fun stuff. So, but I know I talked about it last month, so I just wanted to give you guys an update on that. For sure. Yeah. So it's actually really funny because I try really hard to be prepared for my craft markets, and that's why I prepare so far in advance, because I don't want to be stressed out when it gets closer. It doesn't matter. I still get stressed out. I don't know, it's just like impending doom, but it's not doom. It's impending doom, but it's not. It's like, because I know I have everything I need, it's just, I don't know. Makes me anxious. I really hope we have good weather though for this upcoming one, because the one that I had in December I did not have good weather for, and it was really a bummer. It was really a bummer. So yeah, those are all the updates that I really have to share with you guys. Unfortunately, I'm like a really boring person. I am really happy with my boring life though. That was actually a fun conversation I was having with a coworker. No, not a coworker, it was my manicurist. It was my manicurist a couple days ago, because I got my nails done. They're like this pretty purpley color. I don't know how well you guys can see that right now. I was like, I'm really, like, I don't remember the context of what started the conversation, but the lady sitting next to us was telling these wild stories, and I can't even like reiterate them because they were crazy. And I was like, you know, I'm really happy and content with my boring life. And my manicurist laughed, and she's like, yeah, me too. But yeah, I mean, I don't typically have a whole lot going on. I work from home. I don't know if I told you guys this. So I'm a data analyst, and I actually work from home remotely 5 days a week. So yeah, it's like I have a team of people that I communicate with every day, but I don't have to leave the house to do my job, so I don't have to interact with as many people as most people do if you have to go into the office. So I'm very thankful for my job. I love my job, and I love the fact that I can do it from home, and I don't have to worry about commuting anywhere. So yeah, my life it's really boring. It's really relaxed. I like it. It's not that we don't go out and do things and have exciting moments, because we do, but for the most part, like, I don't have children. I have 2 cats, and they're like my whole world. Which is funny because they were my husband's cats. So like technically they're his cats, but they're attached to my hip too, so now they're my cats. They're like my whole world. So yeah, aside from like just different random things happening and the day-to-day and the events that we plan, like our life is pretty chill, and I really like it, and I appreciate the fact that it is, because I spent a lot of my life being stressed. So any relaxation I can get, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. So, which is why I don't feel the need to do WIP and chats weekly like some people. I just don't feel like I would have enough to talk about. So I feel like monthly WIP and chats work really well for me. And I feel like I have enough to talk about generally to fill like a video. So that's my reasoning behind that. I think that was the point I was trying to make. I think. I apologize if I'm rambling. It's like, I actually have stuff to say, and sometimes I ramble on about something trying to make a point, and then I forget what the point is. I think that was the point. I think that was the point I was trying to make. I don't know. So yeah, my boring life. So let's see. We finished watching season 2 of Squid Games, which, I'm gonna be honest with you, it ends on a cliffhanger. And season 1 was better, but I'm committed, so I have to figure out how it ends. And supposedly, season 3 comes out in the summer, so that'll be interesting to see. And I think I think they said season 3 was going to be the last season, which is good because I don't know how they could continue for it to be like watchable or interesting, right? Everything has to have an end at some point, and I don't think Squid Games needs lots and lots and lots of seasons. I just don't. Because like even watching season 2, I was like, God, this sucks compared to season 1. And it did. My husband's like, I know, right? So we did finish season 2. It ends on a cliffhanger, so if you intend on watching it, just know that it ends on a cliffhanger. I'm not going to spoil anything for you. It's kind of crazy. So we finished watching that. Someone told me that Dexter, I don't know, we didn't talk about Dexter last month, but someone told me that Dexter has a prequel out. And I can't remember if she said it's on HBO or... I think she said it was HBO or maybe it was a Showtime. I don't know. I'll have to go look into that though because I love Dexter. It's been a long time since I've watched it, but I loved Dexter. Absolutely adored that show. So I would be interested in seeing the prequel. Let's see, am I watching anything else? Netflix also has a show called The Empress, and it got a second season. I'm actually in the middle of watching that as well. So I watched season 1 when it first came out, and I really enjoyed it. That show is actually dubbed. Yeah, right? Yeah, dubbed. So the original voice actors are not in English, and they have English voice actors voicing over. So just bear that in mind if you do not like that kind of thing, because I know it bothers some people. Just like Squid Games. I mean, Squid Games is the same thing. It's recorded in no, not Japanese, Korean. Yeah, and then they have English voiceovers for the actors. So I'm watching that. It's been interesting. Lots of drama going on there. I'm not really watching anything else other than, you know, my daily videos on the YouTubes. I'm watching a lot of different crafters and content creators. That's just normally what I do. Sometimes I listen to audiobooks when I craft, but most of the time it's a YouTube video in the background. So, yeah, so that's everything that I've been watching. Nothing new really in that department. I don't think. I can't remember anything else. Mostly just YouTube videos and stuff. Reading. Okay, so I do have some updates on that. So I've finished a couple books this month. Or last month. I guess this month is February. Last month. So I was reading... I know I mentioned to you guys what I was reading. So I was reading The Chronicles of Royal High by R. Litvin. The first book is called The Lost Noble. So it's The Chronicles of Royal High, The Lost Noble is book 1. And I finished it. It's really, really cute. And the author has book 2 out. She is supposed to have a 3rd book coming, but it's not out quite yet, unfortunately. So I don't know if I'm going to pick up book 2 right away because I don't want to wait like forever, right, for book 3 to come out. It ended, I don't want to say it ended on a cliffhanger. It ended in a way that definitely left loose ends, and you know, and that's fine. That's fine, but I don't know. I like my books to end in a way where it's not like leaving you hanging, you know. So it was really cute. I do want to read more of the series, but again, I'm really trying to hold out until book 3 is released, because she has book 2 and then like a short story, I think, released to go along with that series. So I did finish that. It's really cute. It is young adult fantasy, so if you have like a teenager or something, that might be one that they might really enjoy if they enjoy fantasy. I also finished reading The Borderlands Princess by Ophelia Wells Langley. That one is an adult novel. Do not let your teens read it. It was okay. It was... I probably won't pick up the next book. It's part of a duo, so I don't think I'll pick up the next book. And it's not that, you know, nothing against the author or anything. It just wasn't my cup of tea. Wasn't my cup of tea. And then I also finished reading I finished reading a memoir. That's right. So this memoir is called The House of My Mother, A Daughter's Quest for Freedom, and it's by Sherry Frankie. And I actually listened to the audiobook. So it is a memoir of Sherry Frankie, who pretty much tells her story of what it's like to grow up as a child on the internet, pretty much. So if you don't know the story of like the 8 Passengers YouTube channel, go look it up if you want to listen to her memoir. It was a story and a case that I followed very, very closely, and Sherry's book, it tells her, you know, her experiences and what it's like to grow up in that kind of environment. It really sheds a lot of light on like family vloggers and like the morality of it all, and it puts a lot of things into question. I think it's worth a read. It's difficult to listen to it sometimes, for sure. I'm sorry, I'm just using my roller to make sure all the diamonds are down really good. So I did listen to that on audiobook, and I like devoured that in like 2 days. So that's everything that I finished reading in January. I'm currently still in the progress of rereading A River of Golden Bones by A.K. Mulford. Haven't really found a whole lot of time to... Why is that diamond sticking up? I think it's a little bigger than the rest. Or is it just not down all the way? No, I think that diamond is bigger than the rest of them around it. I think it is. Interesting. It's fine. I'm gonna leave it. So yeah, I'm still in the middle of a reread of A River of Golden Bones by A.K. Mulford, and I just haven't found a lot of time to pick it up recently. I've been crafting a lot, and when I get really, really into my crafts, that leaves not as much time available for reading. So, sweet, we finished this section. That is amazing. All right, so yeah, that's kind of a little catch up on my life. We finished this section. I'm really excited, so I can move on with this. I'm actually really close to being done with this painting. So I just have this section over here, and then like this is the top right here where you see my paper. Like that's the top up there. So I just have like one more thin little row to go through, and then it's all done. So that's awesome. All right, so thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate it. Let me know what you're watching and reading, and if you've been playing any games recently. Do you have any vacations coming up? Like, I'm looking forward to Gen Con. It'll probably be the only vacation I get all year this year, unfortunately. So I'm really excited about that, if you couldn't tell from the way I was talking about it earlier. So let me know how you're doing. I'm always interested in finding that out. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, feel free to include like a heart emoji. No, let's not do a heart. Let's not do a heart. That's too generic. Let's do like a rainbow. Do a rainbow emoji. That's different. Leave a rainbow emoji down in your comment. I would really appreciate it. It'll let me know that you made it to the end of the video. I always think that's a lot of fun to see. So again, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already. You watch this and you're not subscribed yet? What are you doing? What are you doing? Hit the button, hit the button. I would love to have you join us for all my crafty shenanigans and fun stuff going on around here. I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I hope your February turns out to be the most amazing ever. And I will see you guys very soon in another video. Bye.